The Federal is organizing the Tenkasi Marathon 2024 on March 24. This marathon is about raising awareness for 100% voting, supporting breast cancer awareness, and celebrating International Women's Day month. This event is sponsored by Anayam Scan.
Hello and a warm welcome to Federal special program Capital Beat. In the latest development in the electoral bond case, today's Supreme Court categorically told the SBI to share all the conceivable data, which includes the alphanumeric serial number. The court has also told the SBI Chairman to file an affidavit by 5 p.m. on 21st of March, saying that no information regarding the electoral bond has been withheld. So, is this by far the most significant step as far as the court mandated disclosure on the electoral bond is concerned? What if SBI again tries to hide some sort of a data? What happens then? And on 21st, when the SBI presumably will be filing the affidavit, how does the case from here on move on? Is the Supreme Court going to form a court monitored probe so that a logical end can be reached in the electoral bond case? Joining me now is a very special panel with us. We have Supreme Court lawyer Sanjay Hegde. So thank you so much for joining. We have Dinesh K. Vora, who's the editor-in-chief of the News Time, and he's a political commentator as well. Thank you so much. We have Girish Joshi, who's a senior journalist and a political commentator. Thank you so much for joining. Anshul Trivedi, who's a Congress spokesperson. Thank you, Anshul, for joining. And let me begin with Sanjay Hegde because he'll have lots to share with us. Today it was a strong indictment of the State Bank of India, given the fact that Justice D.Y. Chandrachud said that bank cannot indulge in selective disclosure of details, and it also said that do not wait for the orders of the court. Now, my question to you is that what happens? I mean, they have not complied with the orders earlier. This is the third time that they've got a rap from the court. Now, what happens if they again try to hide some sort of an information? What happens then? Is the court going to issue a contempt notice? What happens?
Well, I would not like to be the person in charge of the State Bank of India if less than full disclosure, full and candid disclosure, as the Chief Justice put it, is not made. If you try to play cute with the court can certainly take action. And you see, the point is that whatever you say will possibly be audited by several people. There are people watching every bit of the disclosure everywhere out in the public sphere. There are the lawyers on the other side who are also watching. And if it ever were to turn out that some crucial detail was omitted or attempted not to be given to the court, and that is a piece of data that the SBI had, and it has not revealed it, then I'm pretty sure that very strong action will follow. However, we are running ahead of the game. The SBI so far has been taking the line that whatever you have asked for, we have given. So today the court said, no, it's not only whatever we asked for. Give us everything that you have. Full disclosure, full and candid disclosure. Anything short of that will be attempting to overreach the court.
Right. Mr. Hegde, last time when I had interviewed you, you did mention the fact that, there will come a stage where there'll be a flurry of petitions being filed from the donors' end. Now, that is exactly what Mukul Rohatgi today said in the court. He represented the ASSOCHAM, he represented the CII, FICCI, representing the industry's body, saying that do not disclose the alphanumeric serial numbers because the donors had donated money on the condition of anonymity. Now, today's Supreme Court has, in some way, has stepped all that aside. But what is the guarantee that these corporate bodies will not approach the court again?
Their application was not listed today, and therefore the Supreme Court saw no occasion to make any ruling on that. Possibly on the next occasion, there will be an application which is listed. But I think events will have overtaken the application by then. Because before that application is heard, the State Bank of India will be compelled to have to file a affidavit with full details, because now obviously the hearing is only of that application will only be on the next day, 21st, along with the State Bank of India having complied by then. So it may well be that either the application is not pressed or the application will be disposed of as having become infructuous.
Right. But does it stop the corporates, later on also from approaching the court? Can they not approach the court because they are legally within the right, saying that, the law permitted them, a condition of anonymity was put, and which is why they agreed to donate. So they would be well within the rights to approach the court again. So what happens if this legal case persists and the corporates start approaching the court?
Well, everybody has a right to approach the court, from the biggest corporate to the humblest citizen. But it doesn't mean that the court will rule in favor of the corporate or in favor of the citizen if a case is not made out. And now a case is unlikely to be made out, because in the meanwhile, events will have overtaken the case. The corporates may say that, look, we thought we were donating anonymously. Now you say that anonymous donations are wrong and they're a fraud on the Constitution.
Absolutely.
The corporate is in the same position as some flat buyer who bought a flat in one of those supernovas which had to be brought down for being illegal.
Right.
The flat buyer also came and said, we thought everything was legal, etc., etc., etc. That is why the court said nothing doing. What is illegal is illegal. It has to go.
Right. All right. So I'll come to Anshul now. That Anshul, how does this entire discourse? I'll come back to you, Mr. Hegde. But Anshul, I want to know from you that right now it seems that BJP and Congress are on a similar footing. And what happened? You're not getting the audio, Anshul? No, you unmute yourself. Yes.
Yeah. Now I. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what I was asking you was that, currently it looks like Congress also has got donations, DMK has also got donations, TMC has also got donations. And what BJP's Amit Shah and various other leaders have said, that this is perfectly a well-oiled system, which is much more transparent. I have been speaking to a number of BJP leaders since morning, and they said कि पहले तो black में दे देते थे, अब तो हमने institutionalize कर दिया. So this is the kind of explanation they are giving, that we had institutionalized and legalized the whole system. But before that, the previous governments have been taking money in black. So how would you explain, and how are you really going to translate this political discourse now before the people, just ahead of the elections? If you are to say that BJP is a corrupt party, they've institutionalized corruption. So I'm wondering, how are you going to take this narrative to the people? Yes, Anshul.
Anshul, before you start, just a little thought came to my head.
Yes,
where the Home Minister says, previously it was black and now we institutionalized it. There's another Americanism. It says if you put lipstick on a pig, it still remains a pig.
But now they have the media calling it a lion. So the pig is a lion now in the public sphere. That is the issue. No, Niluji, the questions are very important, and I'd like to bring to your notice that they're saying that they have institutionalized the system. What have they institutionalized? That is our point. They have institutionalized corruption. Now there are firms, the data shows that there are firms who have donated more than their profit. So the profit is of 3 crores and they have donated much more than the profit that they have shown in their balance sheet. So it is a vehicle of money laundering and using shell companies to monopolize party funding. So in a way, you look at the entire journey of the anti-corruption movement from 2014.
But Anshul, doesn't the same thing hold for parties like TMC, which are in power in West Bengal, DMK in Tamil Nadu? The same thing is there.
Were we the ones who brought in the system? It's like saying, "Bhai, tum to chunav lad rahe the, ab haar gaye to fir." See, the system was brought in by the government. Mr. Rahul Gandhi, from the first day, said that this is going to legalize corruption, money laundering, and bribery. But once the system and the rules are made, we being the opposition have to play by the rules. Now, our spokesperson and our leadership has made it clear that we never had access to, central contracts of construction and roadways and ports and airports and all of that. So you make the system, you make the road, and we have to travel on it. But the questions are, is it that there were quid pro quos? Were institutions weaponized to extort money out of those companies? Because there have been multiple stories in the media now which have linked raids, ED and IT raids, which have been followed by donations. So, in a way, and also, if you look at what the result has been, out of 12,000 crores of the total electoral bonds, more than 50% of the funding has gone to the Bharatiya Janata Party, which is the ruling party. So, at one level, this is destroying the level playing field that is required for democracy. On the second, and the Supreme Court concurs with me, they have destroyed transparency. And as Hegdeji has rightly said, that if you put lipstick on a pig, it still remains a pig. So the point is, na khaunga na khane dunga se 3 crore ki company se 300 crore ka chanda le lunga. So Bharatiya Chanda Party should tell us now. Now the problem is that we have a media which still questions the opposition. I'll bring your attention to one instance.
Anshul, I'll just give you a little example. I was talking to a BJP leader in the morning just to get some information as to what and how they want to build this narrative. And they said the same thing. They said that if we have taken chanda, then the opposition parties also have taken chanda. If you accuse BJP of quid pro quo, then the money has not been donated to Congress or TMC.
We don't have ED. We can't order raids on people.
No, they are saying that the money has not been given to them free of cost. This is what BJP leaders have been saying.
No, we can't extort money by ordering ED and IT. Now it is a well-known fact across the country that these institutions are being used either to break parties or buy MLAs, and now in this case to extort money out of corporates as well. The point is, and what will the BJP spokesperson say when I tell him that the accounts of the chief opposition party have been frozen on the eve of the elections? Our accounts, Niluji, have been frozen. So let us not be in any illusion that this is a fair institutional democratic fight that we are in. We are fighting a vicious machine. And I'm sorry, but the corporate elite, which was supposed to uphold democracy, which nurtured them, have backstabbed us. And one very important example was in the India Today conclave, where the media baroness was saying that it is not the job of the media to criticize the government and play the role of constructive opposition. And the Home Minister lied to the public, saying that there were 20,000 crores of bonds. Out of that, only BJP got 6,000 crores, and the entire opposition got 14,000 crores. And the great anchor did not have the gumption to say that, no, Mr. Home Minister, you're lying to the people of this country. The total amount that has been disclosed is 12,000 crores, and more than 50% of the funding has gone to the BJP. So see, these are the odds, and this is the system that you're fighting on. This is no longer a fair fight. And lastly, just today, we brought to the notice of the people of this country again, for 10 months, we have been seeking an appointment with the ECI to discuss about VVPATs and the EVMs, but we have not got an appointment. And now the election commissioner has also been appointed by the Prime Minister, the majority of the ruling party. The same ruling party which freezes the accounts of the opposition gets the majority of the funding, which controls the corporate media. And now they have the gumption to say, after making the structure in which we are forced to function, that we also took money. So bhai, hum kya hawa pani par rajniti karenge? But the point is, do we control the institutions? Can we punish people? Can we buy MLAs? That definitely is not there. So rather than asking the opposition, we must ask the Prime Minister, who said even 2 days ago, after aligning with Ajit Pawar, whom he accused of corruption, and the ED and the bonds being called unconstitutional, कि हमने corruption के खिलाफ लड़ाई लड़ी. The entire narrative of corruption today stands discredited, and it is
Yeah.
being used to mask the desecration of the institutional framework of Indian democracy.
Right. All right. Now let me come to the two political commentators. Now, Girish, I'll come to you first. You remembered when the Bofors scam happened, and Congress's image was maligned, and how it became such a big political narrative. Everybody was wondering that if this electoral bond scam will be like what Bofors was to Congress. Do you think that the opposition parties can really nurture this political discourse, take it to the people, take it to the doorsteps, and prove that BJP is a corrupt party? Or do they have enough time? How is this political discourse really going to manifest in the coming 46 to 48 days? Girish, you'll have to unmute yourself. Yeah.
As Supreme Court has said, quid pro quo, that this they can prove it. But I'll tell you something very unique. Why are they afraid of alphanumerical number is, there are a lot of skeletons that are going to come out. One, Mr. Vimal Patni, he is the owner of Wonder Cement in Rajasthan. In 2010, he was the man who paid the shooters to kill Sohrabuddin Sheikh and his wife. That whole encounter case which was run in Bombay, and it was almost proved that he was the man who paid the money. He has paid 20 crores in bond. So now if this comes out, lot of skeletons, they are not worried for the companies. They are worried for that there are many companies. Today on some Pakistani channel, they are telling that Pakistan, the Taliban terrorists in Afghanistan, they are getting money from India. So if these things are getting established somewhere, they won't have face to save. So literally when I spoke to somebody, business, everything is fine. They paid the money, they got the contract, and they paid the taxes, everybody will be justified. State level, they are paid because they wanted state level work. But these things that are going to come out, that illegal, illegitimate people who are involved in crime, a very big crime, those people have paid the money to this party. That will be very disturbing, and I think they are more worried about this.
But are you saying that if the alphanumeric numbers are disclosed, then all these details will start tumbling out, and this is exactly what BJP is scared of?
Yes. They are putting the foot down and trying so hard to bully the Supreme Court also, because it's not the fear that what court would do, but they are afraid of that if these facts come out, it will be they won't have a face-saving exercise to do that.
Right. All right. So, Dinesh, I'll come to you now. You yourself have been a bureaucrat earlier. Now, what I want to ask you is that, according to you, what would the court now do on 21st when this affidavit is filed by the Supreme Court, by the State Bank of India, I'm sorry. So, to reach this case to a logical conclusion, will it be mandatory on the part of the Supreme Court? We'll have to leave it to their wisdom what they do. But a Supreme Court monitored probe or some sort of a committee, which has some administrative powers, punitive powers, does this become a mandatory thing now? Because unless that is done, this entire case would just go haywire then. Unmute. You'll have to unmute, Dinesh. Yeah.
Niluji, Supreme Court has given a sweeping order today actually, because they have said everything you have got, you must submit. Now, you cannot say later on that I was not asked to submit this or that. So in a way, it's an extremely sweeping order. Now, the compliance part is known as SBI. Now, there is no ifs, no buts. By 21st evening, they must submit all, and they must also give affidavit to the Supreme Court, the apex court, that everything which I had, everything A to Z, I have submitted to the so-called designated authority. Now nothing is left with me. But question what Anshul has also raised, and Girish Bhai and Sanjay Hegde Sahab also raised, they are also extremely important. What kind of linkages are there? Like there is one episode I put up in the morning today. One BJP MP is there, CM Ramesh, from South Indian states, Andhra, Telangana. This man buys 5 crore electoral bonds. BJP MP, he buys the 5 crore worth of so-called electoral bonds in January 2023. In lieu of that one, he is assured a hydroelectric project in Himachal Pradesh, Sunny hydroelectric projects. The project is Ritvik Projects. He gets that project worth approximately 2,400 crore. And in March, I think it was allocated. In April, very next month, he buys further 40 crore worth of electoral bonds. So just in the 3 months' time, he buys 45 crore worth of electoral bonds. And then he gets this project. Now, this is a clear linkage. It means the BJP brass, the top brass, is saying, if you want the project, you can take us. I don't care whether you are a BJP MP or a private person. So for 45 crore, he has purchased this project. The linkages are very clear. Now, what more to say? Now, so far, SBI had been involved in the selective disclosure. I think this has irritated the Supreme Court also. And today, when the battery of advocates were there, and one of them, I think Mr. Matthew, had spoken something loudly, and then the Chandrachud Saab was compelled, don't shout at me. I think it's the rarest of rare chance when a Supreme Court Chief Justice speaks in this tone that you are shouting at me. And even I think that Justice Sanjeev Khanna, if Sanjay Hegde can correct me, who said to this guy when he was continuing that, shall we issue the contempt notice? Something like this word was used in the court of law.
Yes.
So this is very rare thing. I mean, continuously you are having a kind of period, or continuously you are having a submission in the court of law. And fortunately, I too have had a very big, you can say, number of days when I spent in the court of law, particularly from the prosecution side, actually. So I have that kind of experience. But these kind of things and these kind of words coming from the apex code, and that too from Chief Justice, was extremely disturbing. It means the people who are speaking there and putting up their matter, they have got some solid support that you can go and shout there. You can go there and submit anything you want.
Absolutely.
And there is somebody to protect you. And that is, I think, I personally feel it's extremely, extremely disturbing. Number two, these projects, 50% of projects have gone to 3 sectors. Power, infra, of course, gaming also there now. 13% money has come from that one in the electoral bonds, 27% from infra, and 9% from power. So approximately 50% money is coming. Now, if you look at the government's budget, it's almost 10 lakh crore this year, which has been spent on the infrastructure. It means the most of the money which is flowing through the electoral bond is from the infrastructure companies, or big steel firms, or cement firms, or maybe the power sector, energy sector, roads, express highways, bridges, tunnels. Like Megha Engineering, they paid 966 crore in the trenches, of course, but later on they got this Borivali and the Mulund tunnel project, which is very huge, 10,000 crore worth of e-buses projects, Kaleshwaram project in the Andhra Pradesh. So linkages are very clear and very clean, absolutely. If somebody goes into deeply into that one, then I think people must answer. I believe in democracy, transparency is must. In the name of transparency, you have created a system which is absolutely non-transparent. And then Nirmala Sitharaman says this is one of the best things which we have done. I don't know how come she is saying these words. I mean, you are hiding everything from the people, and then you're trying to be transparent. I personally feel this is something, I think the democracy is going to the dogs, rather, I would say.
So you've made important points, and Mr. Hegde, Mr. Dinesh Vora was making a few points as to how, during the heated argument inside the court today, people were trying to, in a way, challenge the Chief Justice, and he did mention about Adish Agarwal, who was the chairperson of the SCBA, that is the Supreme Court Bar Association, and today he was told by the Chief Justice that you have no locus. And you wrote that letter to the President of India where you asked for a review of the electoral bond judgment, and this was publicity oriented. Very clearly, he said that. And he said that we will not permit this, and let me not make any distasteful remarks. That was a very, very strong comment coming from the Chief Justice himself. But are we in a position to say that there are these invisible forces within the legal system which are trying to derail this judgment? And I have no qualms when I ask you this question, that if a person like Adish Agarwal is writing a letter, and he has the audacity to write a letter to the President of India asking for a review of this judgment, then which means that what Mr. Dinesh Vora was saying, that there are certain powers at play which are supporting elements like these. So has Justice Chandrachud sent out a very clear message to these oblique powers who are working within the legal system as well?
Well, everybody is entitled to file whatever petition. Everybody is entitled to say whatever they want, right? We often write critical pieces and all that. But once you come into court, then there are very strong questions of locus. Were you a party to the proceeding? Who are you? Now, the Mr. Agarwal is currently the president of the Supreme Court Bar Association, and he is there till the next election, unless he wins the election thereafter, of course. But that is not a constitutional body. That is not a party to the proceeding. So, trying to derail the judgment for whatever reasons, whether it is for personal reasons, whether for reasons of publicity, whether for reasons of hope that there would be some political gain, he wrote a letter, tried to intervene in the proceedings, and the court has the absolute power to regulate its own proceedings, to hear people who are relevant to the proceedings and to not hear people who are irrelevant. So it is in that context that the Chief Justice made his mind clear, and possibly when he told Mr. Agarwal what he was saying, he was also telling others, look, we don't want any more Begane Shadi Mein Abdullah Diwana kind of people. We want only people who are relevant to this particular proceeding, and we intend to maintain the gravitas of the court proceedings at all costs. Yes, there would be so many people who would be assured that X, Y, or Z could achieve miraculous results in court. But at the end of the day, I'm quite reminded of what Justice Karju used to say, that no lawyer can be bigger than the brief. You go with the brief, whatever are the facts there, you present it in the best possible fashion, assuming that you have an interest in the case.
Absolutely.
You can't just walk into court into somebody else's case and say, oh, I want to be heard, I want to say this. That's not
Right.
how it works.
But Mr. Hegde, there's one very important question which I want to ask you, and that is that 21st of March, when this affidavit is filed by the SBI Chairman, and presumably he will share all the alphanumeric serial numbers. How does this entire case on electoral bonds reach a logical conclusion? What I'm interested in knowing from you is, what does the legal wisdom say in a matter like this, where there are instances of intimidation, coercion, quid pro quo, which the verdict itself has spelled out? Will there not be a committee which will be formed, which will probe into the matter, which will establish those corrupt linkages, and then expose the government further, or expose whoever the party is?
See, it is not the job of the court to investigate. Our legal system is such that there are separate investigating bodies, and thereafter they come to court in case there is a prosecution. Yes, at times when investigating bodies have proved inefficient or have refused to investigate, that is when courts have prodded them. For instance, like the classic case is the Jain Hawala case. There was a diary, there was an FIR registered, but then investigations were stifled. The court got in and then saw to it that the investigation reached a culmination. It may well be that when all the data comes out, there might be evidence of criminality. Based on that evidence of criminality, if the criminal law is set in motion and that is sought to be stifled, then again the constitutional courts may need to be invoked to set the investigating machinery in motion and to a conclusion.
So, which means that the court can probably order a body like CVC or some institutional body to investigate the matter. Can that does that look like a possibility?
It is a possibility, but at the same point of time, there are also possibilities that there might be prosecutions launched in some state or the other, especially if there is a state government which decides that this must be probed further. Supposing the company which produced the electoral bonds, etc., is located in a particular state, and then there is a contract pertaining to that state which is given at the central level. Let's not run ahead of the facts as they unfold. Let them unfold in due course of time, and whoever decides to take action, please don't go in with a half-baked case.
Right.
Sometimes it's better to wait, better to let all the facts play out, build up a solid case, and then fight through the system.
True. That's very true. So, Anshul, your party, as in Congress, opposition I'm talking about. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Hegde. Thank you so much for joining. I'll quickly take comments from Anshul and Girish, and then we'll wind up the show. Anshul, now tell me, everything now is left to the People's Court. It depends how opposition, builds the narrative around all this. We do not know, once the alphanumeric numbers come, how are the linkages going to be established to expose the government that there has been a corrupt practice which has been involved. There have been mentions of quid pro quo, intimidation, coercion, etc. But to take this to the people, to make them believe that, look, here you had a prime minister which said na khaunga na khane dunga, and here he's institutionalized a corrupt system altogether. So is that going to be a difficult job to convince the people, or you will have to just leave it to the wisdom of the people, let them understand the way they have to?
We'll have to see how things unfold, but this is the primary political task that we have. See, Niluji, it's said that in the darkness, democracy dies, and the Supreme Court has given a good judgment and, unshrouded this whole opaque system of funding, which has exposed a lot of linkages. It's not only about quid pro quo, it's about inflating money, laundering money, and there are companies which were registered just, a few months before they donated crores and crores of rupees to the bonds. So all of that should be in the public domain, and we should have a discussion and debate about that. We from the Congress party welcomed the judgment. It was not like the ruling regime which first hesitated in complying with the order. The SBI are obviously part of the ruling establishment, and then gave incomplete orders, data, and now it's been reprimanded again. So what from our side, what we can say is that let the data come out, let there be transparency, and then let us have an honest debate in the people's courts. We want a transparent system, and Mr. Rahul Gandhi was the first leader in this country who had said, when this scheme was not even called unconstitutional by the Supreme Court, that they have legalized corruption. And that again has been proven to be right. So we want a transparent system, and we can debate, and we will bring out the discrepancies and take it to the people.
Okay. So for the concluding comments, I'll come to you, Girish. How do you see this matter unfolding? Will it prove like a Waterloo for BJP? Does it have the potential of doing that?
Niluji, this now depends. Is now as it is coming to people, the opposition should now try and highlight, as Rahul Gandhi yesterday said, that I'm not fighting against a person, or so he's fighting against the system. And he has no chance. He doesn't believe social media. He doesn't believe TV, because they don't support him. So what really they need is, they need to go to the people who don't understand what is bond. Let them sit outside the temples, the mosques, the schools. They just put there. When you put something, a bond scam, a finance scam, people will start asking, what is this? In 2G scam, they went to the villages and they had said that they kha gaya paisa, net ka kha gaya, mobile ka kha gaya. They spoke in that language. This is what Congress and these opposition need to do. They should go to the village and just discuss what is bond. Right. Bond, scam, see, black money. So when that comes into argument, then people will start discussing. So you still need, because talking into cities and the people who understand us will not serve this purpose. That 80 crore people who are eating muft ka anaj, they should also understand that this anaj is coming from a black money. ये पचेगा नहीं आपको, because ये चोरी का पैसा है. So this is all sentiment they have to create.
Right. So we'll have to wait and watch how this narrative unfolds. But yes, all eyes would be on 21st March, when SBI will file an affidavit saying that they have not withheld any information related to the electoral bonds. Thank you so much, Anshul Trivedi, Girish Joshi. It was wonderful having you on the program. And one appeal to the viewers who are watching this discussion: subscribe to our channel, send us your feedback, and stay tuned to The Federal. Thank you.
Subscribe to the Federal's YouTube page for more news and updates.
The Federal is organizing the Tenkasi Marathon 2024 on March 24. This marathon is about raising awareness for 100% voting, supporting breast cancer awareness, and celebrating International Women's Day month. This event is sponsored by Scan.